Okay, we're showing up here at the Tesla Service Center in Rockville, Maryland to take a look at my computer problems here. Okay, so here's what Tesla gave me to drive, a 2017 Infiniti Qx80. It's probably the equivalent, I'd say, of my Tesla in terms of a luxury SUV anyway. It's bigger, definitely. It's got more room inside. It's got some big tires, 285s I think all the way around. Automatic four-wheel drive, so it's almost the same as the all-wheel drive that I've got. And it's just big. It's definitely a big vehicle, as you can see there. Seems that it has all the convenience features too. I don't think it has any auto driving features, although I haven't really explored it that much. Got these step-up running boards to get into here. And you can see the driver's panel here. When I turn it on anyway, I think stuff lights up. And tons of buttons, knobs, controls for everything. You got to figure it all out. Power sockets, heated steering wheel, plugs for your phone. Here's different modes for the four-wheel drive, automatic, so on and so forth. Let's see. I guess it won't let me turn the engine on unless I'm in the seat, I suppose. I don't even know how this all works, but you can see here's the spacious interior. It's got a third row seat too. And I think the third row seat, I believe, you access from here. There's no way to get in the very back. Let's see. Something here you pull. Oh no, the whole thing tumbles forward. That's pretty cool. So then you can get into the third row seat back here. You can adjust. There's power adjustment there on the back, and these headrests pop up if you have someone sitting there, and if not, you just drop them back down. I'm curious to see if the other side folds down like that too. It's easy enough to use. Obviously, I'm doing it with one hand for the first time ever. No problems. Let's see, we'll pull that lever up again. Tumble. Goes right forward. Yep. There seems to be a decent amount of room back there. Although it's a high climb-in height. Let's see, I'm 6'1½", and I can, in a pinch, I could fairly easily get back in here. So that's probably one of the hallmarks of this vehicle, is the large amount of room. I don't know what this vehicle cost. Maybe somebody could tell me who's watching this. And you know, Tesla's first come first serve on their loaner vehicles, so at least I don't have to pay for any gasoline for this. And they said if I do have to fill it up, that they will reimburse me for whatever I need to spend on gasoline, which is good. It could be substantial. All right, now let's try this out. I got my foot on the brake. Okay, foot on the brake. Turn that thing on. And there's the gauges. Lots of buttons. That's what I'm noticing right away, is a plethora of buttons. There's buttons for everything. This other screen here. Let's take a look at the engine. In terms of how it drives, it seems to drive really well. You'd think there's a hood release here, right? No. Don't see that one. But here, that's the power, that's a lift gate in the back. Yeah, that was a lift gate. You can do the lift gate in the back. And it's really slow, by the way. Compared to the Tesla anyway, it seems slow. Turns out there is a hood release. It's right here hidden. And it's got the big V8 engine here, 5.7 liters. I think it's from the Nissan Titan. It smells, I can smell, even though it's new, like 12,000 miles, I can smell the oil, that oily smell. You know, after having a Tesla for a while, you realize that you don't smell that anymore. But I can definitely smell that here. Oil, antifreeze, whatever those fluids are, even though they're not leaking, I'm sure. That's the smell. Alright, let's see how this engine does. Not bad. There is all kinds of lag though because of transmissions and everything else that there's not in the Tesla, unfortunately. Shifting gears, you name it. One thing I do like on here is the independent rear suspension. No solid axle back here, which makes the ride really comfortable. It's a really smooth ride. I'm used to my old Tundra with the solid axle, and it rides similar to that, except it rides better because it's got this independent rear suspension and a spare tire that Teslas don't have. But one thing I don't like is the sound of the doors. Listen to this. Hear that? This sounds... That door handle is... sounds cheap. One thing I also noticed is the climate control keeps switching the defroster to regular. It just makes all these weird noises and changes. I'm noticing that already. I hadn't even driven the car that much. It's kind of annoying, although if it works to keep it at a constant temperature, I suppose it's okay. And look, this camera thing is really unintuitive about keeping this camera on. I don't know why the GPS keeps popping back on, but also not intuitive. I gotta look this up in the manual.
In a quarter of a mile.
All right, let's try this backup camera out here. See how it works. And look, we're right next to a giant Suburban. It's a competitor. So far, so good. Seems pretty easy to use, even though the camera is dirty. And this is a huge vehicle. Let's see what it's doing there. Alright, well we're way back in here compared to the Suburban, but here's the Suburban right here next to us. I think the main disadvantage of the Suburban is it doesn't have it has a solid rear axle, at least from what I know of. I don't think they've updated that yet. Well, let's go take a look from the outside how they compare. Here's the back to the front. And I'm up here and look at front to the back. One thing I'm noticing here is that, look, I've got an entire load of groceries here and all the seats are up. That would never be able to happen with the Tesla Model X. And one thing that is similar to the X is there's lots of instant torque here when you need it. Lots of torque, just right away. That big V8. However, the downside is it's thirsty. Gone through a quarter tank already, and I'm sure that's a lot of gas for a quarter tank. All right, the big question for me, what about car camping? If you're a fan of my channel, if you watch it, you know I do that all the time. So let's fold these things up, let's put these down, and let's see what we're left with in terms of car camping. As you can already see, we're not gonna be able to fold anything flat to the floor. These kind of bump up out of the way, but they don't go flat unless, see, there's my groceries. That's flat. What if we lower it like this? And then lower it like this? Well, it's not flat. It's kind of flat. It moves up this way. I guess you could do a mattress, but then you're gonna have this thing in the way. Does this thing move out of the way? I don't think it does. So that's a problem. That's a major problem. I don't think this could really be set up properly for car camping is my thing here. Give me some comments, let me know what you think, but now comparing this capability to the Model X, there's more room, more headroom, especially in the back, but it doesn't even go up as far as a Tesla does when it's flat. So I don't think the area to camp in is actually any bigger. It might be a little wider, but it's not as useful, so I'd say this is not going to work for my lifestyle anyway, but it's a nice try by Infiniti to try to do all this in one vehicle. Where are the power doors? Talking about the steering wheel, it's a combination of leather and wood, or at least I think it's wood. Maybe it's plastic. I don't know, probably plastic. But it's got wood or plastic all the way around the entire rim. And then it's got leather under, front, and back. So it's a different type of a design. I've never seen this before. I don't know what I think of it. I guess it's good because you don't get any real slippery areas like you do in that either the wood or plastic fake wood areas that are all that and nothing but leather. But of course I don't like leather anyway. I wish there didn't have leather. I wish they had an option for no leather like they do in the Tesla. But as far as I know, they don't. It's all leather. You take it or leave it. Also for price, I want to mention that this vehicle is about $15,000 less than a Tesla Model X, a comparably equipped one anyway, or at least close to it. Let's put it that way, base price. Base price on this one is...
Continue straight for 7 minutes to State
Base price on this one
East Toll, Washington
is $65,000. The Tesla Model X is about $80,000. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because there's two different trim levels. The 90 is $80,000. So let me check into that a little bit more. I was right. It's the 75. The Model 75 is about $80,000. We're talking about this vehicle is about $15,000 less, approximately, based on what you end up getting. $15,000 less, and of course, no autopilot systems are offered, and this is of course gasoline and not electric. So I mentioned car camping earlier. Car camping is next to impossible anyway. Forget that it won't even work in this vehicle because it's gasoline. You have to leave the gasoline engine on all night long in order to have climate control. So is that worth something to you? Well, that's what you need to decide. That's the big difference there, and it's $15,000 in price. One other thing to me, it's more than autopilot. It's the promise of full self-driving and the availability of that, which is what I've got. So you'll give up that on this vehicle. This will never be capable of, at least in our lifetime, full self-driving level 5. Okay, I'm sitting here at the traffic light trying to use the radio, and I can tell you the intuitiveness and the way to type things in is terrible. Especially typing things in, forget about it. There's no keyboard or anything like in the Tesla. Way worse. The sound quality, I tried to adjust everything, definitely not even close. The sound quality is, this is must be the high-end Bose system or whatever. Not even close, sorry. It falls way short in these categories with the stereo, and that's important to me. And I even have the bass system on the Model X. I don't even have the premium sound, and this falls way short in sound quality and usability. Now that was an interesting feature. Look at that. It shows how close I am with camera views on both sides. That's pretty cool, actually. Like I'm about to hit that Tesla there. That's a neat feature that's not in the Tesla in terms of showing images like that. So I like that. Because this is a big vehicle. You need something like that.
In a quarter of a mile, turn left on...
Again, I like the way this operates again. How does it get overhead views? Look, it can see that I'm pulling into the corner of a parking spot. It can see all of that. How does it do that? I really like that. I wish my Tesla had that. Whoop. Well, it couldn't tell me I banged my wheels in there. But one thing this doesn't have is Falcon wing doors. I forgot to mention a panoramic windshield. Doesn't have that either. And one thing I want to say is really tacky, if this is the case, are these things. Is this just for show? Do they actually do something? Because if they don't really do anything, it's just, what a waste. Oh, and something else that Infiniti has done, which I don't like about these numbering systems. On most cars, it means something. Like on the Model X, 75 means you have a 7.5 or 75 kilowatt pack, or a 90 like I do, a 90 pack, or even a 100 they have now. This used to mean the liters. So if this was right, it would mean we have an 8-liter V8, but we don't. We only have a 5.4 something 6. I don't know what it is. I'll go over and show you where that is. But this is basically a big lie now that Infiniti's doing. They've overinflated everything, so it seems like it's better than it is, and it's not. So it just makes them seem like they're not telling the truth to anybody. So what I actually do have, it's on both sides. I want to go on the side here with the light. Is 5.6. So it should say the QX 5.6 if they were being honest. Something else to consider if this matters to you is that they really recommend or really require the use of premium gasoline in this vehicle. So that's going to mean you have to buy the most expensive gasoline there is for this vehicle. Most of the cars I've ever had, all of them actually only require regular unleaded, but this is premium. I think this is cool, the power function here. It does take a little while, but at least it's power, and you don't have to step back in there to do any of this. Another nice thing for rear seat passengers is this nice cubby center. It's deep too. Drink area, and you can control the climate control system, temperature and everything back here. That's nice too. So what's your first impression?
It's a gas guzzler.
Environmentally unfriendly?
I saw Tesla leaving and I was gonna go chase it.
Oh really?
I thought it was you.
It's not me.
It's environmentally unfriendly.
Yeah. What? What'd you say?
How can you stand this? It's like driving a semi.
It says too big?
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing it has that's neat, actually you can't see it here. Yeah, you can. A bird's eye view. Look at that. That is the coolest thing. I wish mine had that. So when I move, look, see that? It's like there's a satellite watching me. It's like someone's watching me. Big Brother's watching me.
That's how you move.
Yeah, how does it? No, look.
Running over the Mazda 3.
It even says a Freddy, as you can see, that's a camera. No problem, but how does it get that view? Where's it getting that view from? Is there a satellite above me, watching me?
Probably.
Or is it just kind of putting the cameras together around the vehicle? So it's not as fast, but it's quick. And I think the best thing about this vehicle is the ride. I think it rides really smooth.
Yeah.
Because it has four-wheel independent suspension. It's not like an older SUV with a big beam axle in the back. It's got four-wheel independent suspension, and that's the best feature in my mind of this whole vehicle. And it does have a lot of torque. I mean, lots of torque instantly, because that's because it's a V8, gas guzzling V8. So
it produces plenty of noise.
yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. It's not as quiet.
It's like riding on pillows.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a soft ride. I don't. So it's not going to be as good a handling vehicle because of that. That's the other thing. It's giving me a bird's eye view inside of a parking garage. How does it even do that?
I still think you're gonna hit the wall. It doesn't.
Okay, that's it. We're done. We're there. Let me know when you're recording.
I'm recording.
You're recording?
How's the drive up there?
It's pretty good, except for someone almost cut me off. And the size of this vehicle didn't seem to matter to them. They were just changing lanes right into me until I hit the brakes, so I didn't run into them.
What happened earlier?
Somebody was turning from the right lane to the left lane. They were signaling. They were right on the front corner of my vehicle, and they started making the turn anyway. So in order for them to make the turn, I had to jam on the brakes.
Nice. And you say most people are intimidated by this vehicle?
Yeah.
Except for the lady who was about to turn left in front of you. She was daydreaming.
Yeah.
Probably about dinner.
Well, overall this thing does pretty well in traffic, but I'd like to have autopilot still.
In 1,000 feet, stay to the left, then stay to the right.
I can also tell you, sitting in traffic, that this thing doesn't have anywhere near as good an air filtering system that the Model X have. I have that HEPA filter because of the system that I have, the upgrade, the premium package with the bioweapons defense mode, and that filters out all exhaust gases that I can tell, and I have a pretty sensitive nose, but this thing, you can smell other people's exhaust gases when we're driving.
How many blocks do you have to go?
Reverse camera, that's the extent of the reverse camera, I think. I don't think you can see a change view. Maybe, no. forward. Yeah, it won't let you see like a real reverse camera, unfortunately. That's kind of a negative of this whole system. Even though it does have a bird's eye, you still see that person right on my bumper. How was the drive-in traffic from the back seat passenger?
It was fine. It was a little scary. Then I put my seatbelt on, and then it was fine.
Yeah, lots of room.
Yeah, there's plenty of room back here.
Hey, parking this thing in the city is a problem. We were able to find one that had lots of free space around it. That's your only hope, because it's going to be nearly impossible to parallel in a regular area. There are no auto high beams on this car. At least I don't think there are. There's auto headlights, but they're not auto high beam. If we're going in this dark area right now, see, I gotta turn them on. I don't have to do that in the Model X. Hey, one thing I did want to mention about this vehicle is it does have Model X beat in terms of passenger space, right? And room. But for stuff space, it doesn't. The Model X is better because it's kind of what you see is what you get here. There's no frunk up in the front, just engine, so no storage there. And then there's no storage under here. And you do have a spare tire. That's part of the problem. You have this, and you have some tools, but there's nothing underneath. It's just metal. There's spare tires underneath. There's no additional storage in here. You do have two nice large bins right here in the middle of the second row and first row seats. They're large and deep, but that's it. You have basically no storage in this vehicle. For me, I use the stuff in the Model X back here in the compartment just forward of there, and the front, I use them all the time. So if that matters to you, you won't have any of that in here. You're giving up for passengers. Although you can fold these forward and you have above area storage, but nothing below area, nothing hidden like in the X. Notice here in the vehicle too, which is another bad mark for Nissan or Infiniti, is that I don't see any way to do music through Bluetooth. Maybe I'm just overlooking it, because I can definitely hook up my phone
1.4 miles.
And I can call people,
Pike.
but I'm not getting any of my music. I can't play my YouTube videos and stuff, Facebook videos. Let me know if you know that can be hooked up, but I don't think it can, unfortunately, in this vehicle. Well, I pulled out the manual, and apparently there is a way to determine to have streaming audio here.
Turn right on West Good Drive.
But it's totally not at all intuitive. And as you can see, it even has Bluetooth blacked out here. I'm supposed to go in the Bluetooth to do it. Can't even do it. I don't know how to do it. It's a lot about many things in this car, not very intuitive. It must have the capability. I just can't figure out how to easily set it up. And the Model X, this was simple to set up. Okay, I'm returning my vehicle now, picking up my Tesla. Thanks for watching my review here. Let me know what you thought of it. If you've driven one of these QX80s compared to the Tesla Model X, and any other thoughts you might have. Look forward to reading your comments. Thanks again. Now that I'm back driving my X for a bit, I can tell you this feels so much sportier, so much lower to the ground. You know, I can adjust the height of suspension. So much more compact, even though it's got close to the same amount of room in the back except for the sloping tailgate. It just feels so much more manageable in day-to-day driving. This feels like you're driving a sports car. That Infiniti feels like you're driving a bus, basically.